Hi everyone, today we have the privilege to talk to one of my really good friends. We wanted to learn a little bit more about him and how he ended up coming here to Vancouver.
Hi, I'm Sebastian. I'm from Colombia, and I am a video game design student at the Center for Entertainment Arts in KPU.
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm really good. Enjoying the spring in Vancouver. The weather's finally looking a little bit better, and I really enjoy this part of the city and this part of the year very much.
Tell us a little bit about the city. I think people know that Vancouver summertime is not very long. So how are you adjusting to that?
It's definitely a big change. In South America, we don't really have seasons like we do here. But I really like it. I enjoy how the city changes with time and how you have to kind of adjust to that a little bit in the beginning. But it's very enjoyable. You get to enjoy different types of weather, different colors, and just a very different city every 6 months.
What did you do after high school and how did you end up coming here?
After high school, I actually went into architecture. I decided to stay and study in Lima, in Peru. I got my architecture degree. Then I went back to Colombia, and my plan was to work as an architect first and then try to go into something else. We had a little bit of a global pandemic situation, so that plan couldn't actually work. I just started working as an on-the-phone interpreter for doctors, so translating English and Spanish and improving my language.
Okay.
And after a while, a cousin of mine started looking into moving to Vancouver. And he told me about this agency. This agency told me, yes, they were looking for international students to come to Vancouver, do a 2-year program, like any 2-year program in certain universities. And you could get a postgraduate work permit, which is what I'm doing right now. And it was a really good option. I had a lot of options to look at, like there was a finance, engineering, a lot of art programs. I myself went into video game design because it's always something that I was passionate about. And now, in the middle of it, I have no regrets.
So was there any sort of a culture shock for you when you first came in?
The day I arrived was actually just after New Year's. Vancouver had actually experienced the worst snowstorm in a decade.
Yeah, I remember normally what we get is maybe once or twice a year we get a little bit of snow here in Vancouver. But I think things have been changing. I think weather's changing.
Just getting at the most difficult time weather-wise, and everything gets better. So it was actually pretty good. You get over the shock pretty quickly, and then you get used to it pretty quickly as well.
How was your first couple days?
It was pretty good. It was pretty hectic. We had to move like right after I came in. I slept through the night, and then first thing in the morning I was packing the house. After that, it was just getting to know the city, going out and seeing how Vancouver was actually, because I'd never been here before. I just knew from acquaintances. I knew Vancouver was more of a metropolitan international city. So a lot of immigrants, a lot of people from different backgrounds, a very diverse city, but not as big as other cities in Canada, let's say Toronto.
Yeah.
So like the contrast is pretty important.
Right.
In Toronto, you go to a city and you basically live in the city surrounded by that type of vibe. But Vancouver is it's a small city, but it's a density of many different types of cities. Like right now we're in what could be the country. It's a very nice park, very big park.
Yeah.
And it's right next to downtown, which is insane to me. And you move across the bay, North Vancouver is a completely different town. The part where I live in, which is Marble, more to the south, it's also a completely different part of town. It's like smaller streets, more residential, lots of good restaurants.
How did you end up choosing this school, and how was the process to get admitted and get into class eventually?
Originally, the CEA, the Center for Entertainment Arts,
Yeah.
didn't belong to KPU. It was actually part of Langara College. So the whole process was done through an agency, but it was done through them, through Langara.
Okay.
And it was only after I came here that I found out, because of the pandemic and a lot of changes of plans, we were moving to KPU. So I didn't really get to see much of Langara my
Okay.
time there. KPU is the Kwantlen Polytechnic University,
Okay.
and they have a campus in Richmond, which is where I go to.
Gotcha.
And they, being the Polytechnic University, they're more geared towards production arts type of careers,
Right.
like architecture, fashion design, any type of arts-related industry.
Yeah.
The CEA specifically, it has 3D video, 3D animation. It has video effects. It has video game design, which is where I go to, and that's basically what we do. Like, all the programs are very interconnected, so you end up seeing people doing all types of projects. And whenever they have events, like they say, hey, this person that works at Industrial Light and Magic is coming to give a talk
Yeah.
on visual effects. But everyone in the CEA is invited, so you can just walk in and maybe learn something or meet someone that you weren't expecting to, and completely changes what you're doing now.
How do you like in the classes? How do you like in the program?
It's very good. I really like it. Unfortunately, after the pandemic, there's still a lot of adjusting to do.
Adjusting, yeah.
Most of the classes are still remote, online.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And we're slowly starting to get people back to campus,
Okay.
which is the way I prefer to take classes and participate in projects.
Right.
But other than that, the advantage of having remote classes is that you can get professors that you wouldn't be able to get here in person in Vancouver.
Right.
Like, we have professors from South Africa, from other parts of Canada, and even professors that have to leave for one reason or another for one semester. They can still give us classes through the remote system. When I started, the semester before, it was all online classes because it was still the pandemic. But I had actually applied 1 year earlier, and I was accepted into the CEA. But the visa process in Colombia took a little bit longer.
It can take some time, right?
Yes, and they delayed me like almost a year, just because I couldn't get the visa in time. But they kept my position at the CEA open.
Okay.
And they told me, like, you could take the online classes if you wanted to. But I really wanted to do the networking and stuff in person.
Right.
So I decided to wait.
Can you share with us maybe how, what's the name of the program, how long it takes to complete the program, and what are sort of your plans maybe after?
Yes, the video game design and video game technology programs were merged into one, which is advanced video game development. So it's pretty much all-encompassing. If people are interested in making games but they don't know exactly where to start, like if as an artist, as a level designer, as a programmer even, you can go to the program and they will teach you step by step a little bit of everything. And then on the advanced courses, let's say when you get to programming 3, you can start to specialize a little bit. If you are really sure that you're not that much into programming but want to deal more with the arts, then they give you assignments that are specifically about that. You take the programming part in as much depth as you're comfortable with, and then concentrate on the other courses a little bit more. I had friends which came from the game technology program, which wanted to be coders for games.
Okay.
So they ended up just helping with some of the animation classes, let's say.
Right.
And us, the artists, were not as involved in the programming classes, but were leading the other projects a little bit more in depth.
I see. Okay.
The program is a 2-year program.
Yeah.
And with the PGWP system, you are entitled, if it's a 2-year program, to a 3-year work permit.
Okay.
That's only on certain colleges and universities.
So not every single school provides that offer. Okay.
That's one of the reasons I chose the CEA.
Okay.
Not only because of the game design program, but because it came with the opportunity for a postgraduate work permit.
Exactly. So it gives you the opportunity to potentially stay in the country and look for a job and who knows, potentially stay here for the long run, right?
Yes.
And how about Vancouver? How's Vancouver as a city for people that want to pursue your career?
It's really good.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's a very good start. There's a lot of indie companies here, which
Okay.
are always looking for people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also big companies like EA.
Yes.
It's a pretty big studio here.
Right.
Microsoft has studios here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few more opening up. And as I understand, the industry is always doing big shuffles. So even if you don't get immediately into a studio 1 month, the next month they could be looking for new people.
Mm-hmm.
So you always gotta be like with your eyes and ears open,
right,
and be available.
Like, how do you like in the city?
So I was lucky that Gustavo was living here when I first came in. I became his roommate, and it was a pretty easy transition in that sense. But yes, rent in Vancouver is one of his most infamous aspects. So you gotta be able to afford that.
Right.
But yeah, if you are part of a college or university, there's always people looking for roommates.
Okay.
There's always postings of how much it is, where they live, what they're looking for, and it's a pretty good solution. Just deal with it as a team, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, how much is rent approximately for an international student, and what are the options? Like, for example, sharing an accommodation with someone, or
It depends a lot on what part of the city you're looking for. Like if I looked closer to Richmond, it would probably be cheaper, like further away from downtown.
downtown Vancouver.
Is the most expensive, I would say. I live sort of in the middle ground. I pay for a full suite. It's a basement suite, but it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom with its own kitchen, laundry, all of the amenities. It's $2,000 a month, and I share it with one roommate.
Okay. And that includes what does that includes in your payment?
Yeah, it includes the basically the whole
So like
thing.
So like hydro, internet,
No,
all that stuff.
not internet, and the utilities come every 6 months.
Okay.
Because they vary a lot. Like there's not a lot of utilities in the summer. Like there's no need for AC really in that house.
Right.
So it doesn't go out. But then in winter you have heating, so that goes up a little
A
bit.
little bit. Right.
So the landlord actually splits it half a year.
Okay.
But it's really not that much more. And internet, yeah, you gotta do that with yourself. With your roommate, you gotta agree, because we're game design students. We need high-speed internet.
Right.
So we cannot rely on the landlord's Wi-Fi for that. We need to get
Right.
our own.
Do you miss eating Colombian food? Or at least you say you grew up in Peru. Do you miss Peruvian food? Do you get it here?
I do miss the food from Latin America. I did bring some recipes with me.
Yeah.
It's not always as easy to find the ingredients, but you can manage.
Yeah.
There's usually.
I gotta pause right here. I just wanted to show a little bit of what's going on here.
Beautifully displayed with hyacinths, daffodils, tulips.
Right. Cool. So you were talking about groceries.
Yeah. I usually get my stuff. I'm luckily I live 1 block away from a supermarket, so
okay.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking for something specific, there's a few places downtown that do sell the Latin American good stuff.
Okay.
I myself need to look for specifically Colombian coffee, because the one from here is it really doesn't compare.
Okay. Please,
Yeah.
do you mind sharing that again? What's wrong with the coffee here?
I don't know. It is. It's not the same as back home.
Okay.
I'm spoiled. I was raised on Colombian coffee, so I'm really not
The real good
biased.
quality.
Yes.
Right. Nice.
It has to be Colombian, and it has to be the good Colombian coffee, because there's varieties. You learn to tell them apart.
How would you rate your time here in Vancouver right now out of 10?
I would say it's been almost perfect.
Yeah.
I would say a 9 out of 10. The people have been very friendly, very accommodating. The CAE is amazing. Even with the the bad parts of the weather, like the rain and the snow. That's still something that I enjoy, maybe because I've only been living here for a little bit over a year.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have a different opinion on that.
Right.
But I actually like the changing of the seasons and getting used to that.
Do you recommend international students to come to Vancouver, and what suggestions would you give to them?
Yes, if you plan to come study in Vancouver, definitely do your research beforehand.
Mhm.
Look at all the programs and try to find one that has a work permit attached to it.
Well, Sebastian, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me. I was an international student myself back then, but obviously things have changed. Hopefully you like in the city. Hopefully you stay, don't go to Edmonton. If you really
Not
have
yet.
to, then for sure. But yeah, thank you so much again.
Yeah, no problem, man. Pleasure.